Okay, HCMC stock update today. So the HCMC has now filed their reply to the that is, the reply that was needed. So that's what we're looking at right now. It says here plaintiff's reply in support of its motion for leave to file an amended complaint. Straight away we have the table of content, introduction. HCMC should be granted leave to amend because its amendment is not futile. That's number 2. Number 3 is PMI refuses to address its baseless accusations against HCMC, its principals and its attorneys. And then conclusion. But we're going to quickly look at the introduction, and which is number 1. Then number 2, we'll try and have a look at it quickly. And straight away, the introduction summarizes everything. It says here HCMC's amended complaint alleges facts confirming that PMI's accused IQOS device initiates a combustion reaction and thus infringes the 170 patent. HCMC's allegations are substantiated by the declaration of Dr. Michael Deible, who conducted combustion testing on IQOS system, including the tobacco HeatSticks, notwithstanding PMI's baffling allegation that he did not test the IQOS itself. So we also fell foul of that as well. We indicated in previous videos that HCMC through Dr. Michael Deible did not test the IQOS system, but HCMC now straight away in this introduction is clarifying everything out now and putting it out there and asserting and standing their ground that Dr. Michael Deible did test the IQOS system. So we even got that wrong as well, and including Jossum Sauce. We all got it all wrong. Dr. Michael Deible did indeed, based on what HCMC is asserting now, that that indeed they tested the IQOS system, and including tobacco HeatSticks. Okay, so moving on to say PMI's opposition to HCMC's motion attempts to implore the court to undertake claim construction at the pleading stage, which is premature and inappropriate. Okay, so they're simply saying that PMI is trying to bring what is supposed to happen in later stages in this pre-pleading stages. It does so in an effort to entice the court to adopt the narrow definition of combustion it used in its self-serving submission to the FDA, which is extrinsic to the 170 patent and does not take into account the 170 patent claims. Okay, so PMI used the narrow construction of combustion before the FDA in an attempt to distinguish its IQOS device accused of infringement here from conventional cigarettes. So you can see that it's that narrow definition or narrow construction of combustion is what they are alleging that the PMI is trying to use to distinguish the IQOS from regular cigarettes. But that is not the issue here, according to them, and PMI's self-serving statements suggesting that there is no combustion in the IQOS device need to be taken in the context in which they were made. They were not made in the context of the 170 patent, which governs here. So yes, so so the 170, according to HCMC, the 170 patent is the main context here, not any other thing they are trying to define or may have put out earlier on through with the FDA. So the proper construction of the combustion reaction in the context of the 170 patent, and this case is a question of law and premature at this point. Instead, the only issue before the court is whether HCMC's amended complaint is futile, whether it sets forth factual allegations that, accepted as true, state a claim to relief that is plausible on its face. And As a matter of law, the amended complaint will supersede the original complaint, rendering it a legal nullity. So PMI's focus in its opposition on complaining about the original complaint and Exhibit J thereto is misplaced, because HCMC's amended complaint states a claim that is plausible on its face. The court should grant HCMC's motion for leave to amend. So it's amongst other things, it's trying to say that HCMC's complaint about combustion is misplaced, and at the same time as well, the issue, trying to allege that there is no need to accept this amended complaint, is not a good effort. It's a futile effort, and they're trying to also assert that this amended complaint does indeed supersede the original complaint, because obviously we know that PMI is, or try their best to state that they have already filed, they have already let the genie out of the bottle in that original complaint that failed, that the court should disregard this amended complaint and stick to that complaint, the original one that was declined. So moving on to number 2, HCMC should be granted leave to amend because its amendment is not futile. Okay, so it's in this section, it's trying to back up this amended complaint, that is not a futile effort, and of course, fortunately, they were asked to file this amended complaint. So HCMC's amended complaint incorporates by reference the declaration of Dr. Michael Deible, who holds a PhD in physical chemistry and whose analysis concludes that, based on the testing and analysis he performed and review of technical literature, the IQOS device causes combustion of a heat stick tobacco product when it is operated in accordance with its instructions for use. So this is a further substantiation that Dr. Michael Deible did indeed test the IQOS device. So in opposition, PMI's only challenge to that plausibility of HCMC's allegation that, based on Dr. Michael Deible's analysis, that the IQOS system initiates a combustion reaction, is that Dr. Michael Deible concedes that he did not test an actual IQOS device. But PMI's assertion is demonstrably false. Dr. Michael Deible made no such concession and did in fact test an actual IQOS device using commercially available IQOS HeatSticks, which eviscerates PMI's sole challenge of plausibility of HCMC's infringement claim. Okay, and then this is very important. As set forth throughout his declaration, Dr. Michael Deible's analysis was based on, amongst other things, tests that he concluded on the IQOS device in his laboratory. It says, my testing and analysis indicates that the operation of the IQOS device results in combustion of heat stick tobacco products. That's number 1. Number 2, operation of the IQOS device with heat stick tobacco products generates carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide in concentrations and amounts that depends upon oxygen being present. And 3, operation of the IQOS device with heat stick tobacco product generates carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide in concentrations and amounts that indicate combustion. So he went on to say, in quotation, I have inspected the heat sticks after use. The Marlboro heat sticks are blackened and charred after normal use. Portions of the heat stick tobacco product exhibit ash, indicative of combustion. And heat stick puffing experiments generate concentrations of carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide that are indicative of combustion. The results show that the IQOS device generates increasing concentrations of carbon dioxide as the concentration of oxygen increases. In accord therewith, smaller amounts of carbon dioxide were generated in an atmosphere with lower concentration of oxygen. Together, the data demonstrates that a reaction in the IQOS device is an oxygen-dependent combustion reaction. Therefore, not only does HCMC's amended complaint state a claim to relief that it is plausible on its face, but it is also supported by a declaration of Dr. Michael Deible, who goes above and beyond the pleading requirements by providing test results confirming that the IQOS system initiates a combustion reaction consistent with HCMC's allegations set forth in the original complaint. Okay, accepting. Okay, so HCMC allegations in the amended complaint are consistent with the original complaint and the intrinsic evidence of the 170 patent. HCMC's allegations that the IQOS system initiates a combustion reaction are consistent with those set forth in the original complaint. The only difference is that the allegations are now supported by HCMC's testing as explained by Dr. Michael Deible, rather than PMI's admission in the FDA submission that the IQOS generates markers indicating combustion. Okay, so that's the second part. The asserted claims of the 170 patent require initiating a combustion reaction. It was for this reason that the patent office examiner allowed the claims to issue over the identified prior art references that teach that electronic cigarettes are intended to mimic the experience of smoking a combustible cigarette without the actual combustion of tobacco. Okay, so what's the next one? Any other one? PMI's futility argument is at best premature because it is a non-infringement argument requiring claim construction. Okay, so HCMC allegation that PMI's IQOS system causes combustion is based on, amongst other things, Dr. Michael Deible's understanding of the plain and ordinary meaning of the term combustion, which is a chemical reaction that requires fuel, oxygen, and an ignition source. On information and belief, the heat stick provides fuel. Fuel. I mean, these are the three elements that require combustion. Heat stick, energy source. Okay, that's the fuel. Then air provides oxygen, and IQOS system provides a heating blade. Okay, so the heat stick is the fuel, and air provides the oxygen. So air has oxygen in it, and then the IQOS system provides a heating blade, and then with all those three things together, you have a combustion made possible. So so what else do we have here? Okay, so HCMC's allegations in the amended complaint are not contradicted by PMI statements to the FDA, which are no longer part of the recording in this proceeding. HCMC's original complaint was dismissed based on this court's finding that HCMC's allegations were contradicted by PMI statements to the FDA. While PMI's FDA submission is no longer a part of the record before this court, the allegations set forth in HCMC's amended complaint are in no way contradicted by PMI's past statements to the FDA. Okay, so because PMI is trying to bring back that case, that original complaint that was dismissed, because easily, since that case was already dismissed, by trying to bring it up again, it will be, it's like, by trying to bring it up again, then it's easy for you to assert that it should be dismissed. Since it has already been dismissed, then it should be dismissed again. So HCMC here is now saying that is not part of the record in this proceeding anymore. So PMI refuses to address it. Okay, so we're going to leave that. So I think all in all, the conclusion is just based on these things. The first of all, the summary of it all is that it is true. It is not true that HCMC did not test the IQOS system. They have tried. On every section in this introduction and in the main body, they have always pointed out that they did test an IQOS system. And then the other conclusion is that their amendment is not futile, and the allegations in their amendment complaints are consistent with the original complaints and intrinsic evidence of the 170 patent. And PMI's futility argument is at best premature because it is a non-infringement argument requiring claim construction. And HCMC's allegation in the amendment complaint are not contradicted by PMI's statements to the FDA, which are no longer part of the recording in this proceeding. Okay, so that's in all just a summary of what they just filed. We'll take more time and digest it further and come up with a much more digestible video on this. Okay, and thank you very much for watching this video.